Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om Swamiji. Hari Om Swamiji. Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Swamiji. Hari Om.
For the past more than a month now, Papa has been bringing out or hammering or turning our attention to constant remembrance. Constant remembrance in so many ways, and he prompts us to dig deep within IQG, and finally we all arrive at the same point, constant remembrance. So we have been hearing this. It is becoming clearer and clearer and clearer that what is needed is somehow to remember it. Now the technique, we have not still got it. Though Papa has been giving us, because we are still relying on the outer support, we have not turned our mind to take this. Only by plumbing deep within, we will be able to find an answer for this fundamental question. Today morning, we had a small group here, and then at that time, he prompted one of the devotees to bring gospel of Swami Ramdas, where he talks about awareness through practice. We are trying to find out a technique. We are now 100% convinced that spiritual progress purely depends upon maintaining constant remembrance. We have been trying to superimpose this God remembrance, and then we are not successful. At the lip level, we used to say, by God's grace, Papa told me this, Papa promised me this, all those things we say. But it is not a revelation coming from our experience. That is why it does not stay in us. So today when Papa chose or promised the devotee to bring the gospel before us, a small para, we take it now that he is slowly showing us the key. Awareness means, I am, the I amness, if we can use the word. This I amness, nobody will say it is not there. The moment we slip into the waking state, this I amness is there, Even when we think about the dream, the I amness is there. Even when we talk about our deep sleep, I amness is there. I had a good sleep. So now slowly Papa is asking us to turn yourself. Okay, you have not been able to keep up the God remembrance. Now you turn yourself to yourself. You are there, I will just read out that portion and let us see, and then we will go to our usual pattern of satsang. Papa says, you must develop witness consciousness. Stand apart from the movements of the mind and watch. If you do so, the mind will become still in no time. To develop this witness consciousness, constant repetition of Ram Nam is of great help. Witness consciousness cannot come all of a sudden. Long and continued practice of Ram Nam is absolutely essential. To sit even for a short time, entirely detached from all objects, and to remain merged in your own self, Atman. That will give you ecstatic joy, and you will thereafter be able to maintain this consciousness even when you are engaged in various activities. He is slowly trying to hand over the key. But we have to be attentive. Again, he will just see the key and will place it somewhere. And again he searches. You can always remain conscious of the eternal, all-pervading, changeless truth behind all movements and changes in the manifestation. Then you are always joyful. In the beginning, you will find that you lose this witness consciousness when you are engaged in any activity. But by constant practice alone, you can be established in it. This is what J. Krishnamurti called awareness. Constant remembrance of the divine will gradually develop into that consciousness in which you can live and move. If you have listened to Ramdas, you must have understood what he said. If you have listened to Ramdas, hearing is different from listening. Try to assimilate it, put it into practice. So here, some clue, all our external supports so far given to us has not helped us to bring it out from within. We have to be dead honest. So this I amness is there with me. It is very clear. Nobody will deny this I amness. So we are trying to find out how is it that I am in a position to say that I am. And it is so beautiful, no? Today morning it came to our hearts that I am, the amness in the conjugation of it is called the present continuous. You might be remembering, some of you, when you learned the Wren and Martin grammar rules, indefinite, present continuous, perfect continuous, passive voice, active voice, exclamatory, and interrogative. So in this, we take out the present continuous. I am going to school. I am writing it. I am sitting before the laptop. I am taking part in the Google session. I am eating. I am walking. I am sleeping. I am depressed. I am joyful. So immediately we are asking, well, what is this am? Beyond that, the external factors cannot help us. They have pointed out the basic thing in us. So only by our going within it can be found out. Just start thinking about it, no? Deeply. The amness, no? You are seeking the reality hidden behind and beyond passing appearances, seeking the reality that indwells all appearances, seeking that reality which is the permanent and eternal within your own being, which is made up of this non-eternal, impermanent physical body, this non-eternal mental phenomena we call my mind, my thought, my aspiration, my ambition, my memories. All these are impermanent and ephemeral. So from seeking the answer outside, we are now trying to take a U-turn. Papano clearly mentions periodical solitude when he was resorting to. We now take it that it is only to go inward and get stabilized in it. He says, when you are in activity, you may likely to, in the beginning, you will find that you lose this witness consciousness when you are engaged in any activity. So when he was traveling, so he was trying to maintain, there might have been moments when he would have felt from within that he needed some solitude, some withdrawal to get it stabilized. And he had that experience in Arunachala. So throughout, every now and then we can find out whether it is Anandashram, whether it is Jhansi, in so many places we will find that he literally retires to the solitude. Even during the other time, even when the outer circumstances were not favorable, he was able to concentrate. So kindly start thinking. What we read out was a portion from Gospel. That means it was a satsang in ashram, Gopiji in ashram. Yes.
Page number, Swamiji, page number, Gospel.
Page number 96 of the new book. Volume number 3.
Volume number 3. Okay, sir.
Volume number 3. And in inward journey in the small book. If you go through that, be a witness to all movements. Detach yourself from them and become the observer of them. Then you will realize that you are the eternal witness and the body is not yourself. Papa was making a reference about Ram Nam. So he says Ram Nam helps you to become aware of the witness consciousness. Each one of us will now try to find out whether when we stand for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, whether this has happened to us. If not, why not we try? If we don't try, how can we get it? So when you slowly chant, just try. Whether you are able to hear your own chanting, which is called witness consciousness. There is a knowing entity when the Om comes out. No? I will read out again Papa's words. Be a witness to all movements. Detach yourself from them and become the observer of them. Then you will realize that you are the eternal witness and body is not yourself. Identification with the body will go. Witness consciousness will be attained. If you are practicing or heard about yoga, each one of course has their own way of practicing yoga. But in the Shavasana, probably that must be uniform always. We don't know. First is we are relaxing the body. Relax your feet, relax your ankle, relax your calf muscle, relax your knees, relax your thighs, relax your hips, relax your buttocks, relax your back, relax your shoulders, relax your hands, relax your neck, relax your head. The next is you are relaxing the whole body. Each and every, not every, almost the organs or the places in the body is now made aware of us. No? Then suppose we add one more. We know now that we are the knower of the body. We are different from the body. When he says, you come out of the body conscious. How am I to do it? Otherwise it is theory of Papa. So we devise some method. When he says identification with the body will go and witness consciousness will be attained. So even if you don't practice Shavasana, suppose you lie down and start practicing this, you try it. Whether the words of Papa can be applied, whether it can be tested, whether it can be made a reality, whether it can be translated into a reality in our life. So today morning when he prompted the devotee to take up this awareness, we should know that he is trying to help us. All other outer activities we have been doing it religiously, with sincerity, with all earnestness, with all faith. But still the key is still missing. Key for what? Key for sustained consciousness of God. It might come and go, but sustained, everlasting. So today he chose, why don't you try this? There could be so many methods, why don't you try this? So we thought we would share with you all. Because this is a pivotal piece, that is in IQG. So when we are making an in-depth study of IQG, the common thread in all the 37 chapters is constant God remembrance. So we are now slowly trying to realize the common thread and then slowly trying to turn our attention. We have been turning our attention towards it. We are slowly turning our attention more vigorously, more earnestly, more intensely. Be a witness to our movements. That means the amness, we are trying to find out the amness. It is not outside, it's not outside. It is not an outside factor. It is an inner reality that amness is there. The small self in me, the sense of individuality, need not ask or seek whether I am there or not. Nobody goes and asks, who am I? But the only confusion is, I have identified with my small I and start reacting, but I have not understood my real I. Please think over, this is a very serious subject. He is now slowly taking us to the advanced portion. So far it was all right? No. Enough is enough. Throw more light. Ranganathanji says in one of his talks in Vivek Chudamani, when we say I, don't think that we are meaning the small I. There are two I's in us. the individual self is the I, and the eternal self is the witness of this I. When we use the word I, our finger points towards our body. Actually, it implies a profound reality hidden inside our psychophysical system. In the absolute sense, it refers to the reality that witnesses the I. That is the eternal self. But in our deluded state, I is understood as the individual self. So we have to sift the real from the unreal. So in each one of us there is an individual self and the eternal self. The individual self is the I, the eternal self is the witness of the I. This is the toughest question, not easy to understand, so that, but we try to understand.
Swamiji?
Yes?
Yes? Can I ask a doubt? Can I say that individual I is unique and the eternal I is uniform, universal?
So here it is made clear to us that the individual self is known by another entity now. I know that I am talking now. Who is that? You know that you are hearing now. So the investigation should start from there. And in order to prepare the mind to go within, the easiest way is to catch hold of Ramnam, to quieten the mind, number one, to train it to go inward rather than going outside. Number three is, when we understand the meaning of Ramnam, it also helps us to do that. That is why probably Papa gave the meaning. Om stands for the Nirguna Nirakara aspects, nameless, formless aspects. Sri stands for the with name, with form aspects. Ram stands for both and beyond both. Jai stands for victory. Victory to that reality, who is without name, without form, who is appearing as name and form, who is both, who is beyond both. So when it is Ramnam helps us to develop this witness consciousness. Witness consciousness is exactly the real me. Papa here says, many rules have to be observed for control of mind. Observance of silence is one of them. Who is observing silence? Let us find out. So this is how we start. Papa is initiating us to take to the inward journey and says, sit silent, detach yourself from the mind and watch its activity. The watcher is the real you, the self-immortal. Again we repeat, this may become a little dry. So that is why we are bringing again and again and again. The common thread in the IQG is to sustain God remembrance. We tried many other methods. Today Papa is also pointing out there is one more method which is called the becoming aware of the witness consciousness enough. That will ensure constant God remembrance. the moment through our various practices, we try to become aware of the witness consciousness in us, for a try. Then we try, we try. We try through so many methods. When we see a still atmosphere, we try. When we hear a soothing music bhajan, we try to witness the hearing. When we see a beautiful creation, we look at it. Immediately we try to see, yes, we know that is, yes, now we remember. Paramji, when we went to Sri Lanka, there was a saint called Yoga. So, beautiful. The word is very simple, but I don't know how to translate. Anyway, in Tamil it is said, Kerala pora Samiye, Paakkarada Paakaram. In every big temple there will be a chariot, and once in a year or they have some program, the idol will be there, and people, bhaktas will drag everything, by their hand, hundreds and thousands of people will be dragging the chariot, and they will be making a round of the city or the town or the village. So this yoga, this saint says, the chariot is called Teri, and the deity inside is called Swami. But you are looking at it, na? Terla pora Swami hai, Paakkarada Paakaram. You are seeing the deity, the chariot being drawn. Who is seeing it? Who is seeing through your eyes? The witness consciousness. So Papa is slowly trying to make us aware. With witness consciousness, nobody will say that it is coming from outside. It has been with me, it is with me. And finally he puts the stamp. The watcher is the real you, the self-monger. So now we have to make use of the Ramnam chanting to pave the way for the emergence of witness consciousness. That's why he said, utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. In the stillness it is that you know and realize God. Bhajan, Kirtan, Namasmaran are all means to that end. You have to repeat, chant or sing the name, no doubt, for a certain period. After that, repetition must cease. Mind must become still. In the stillness, duality is transcended. The repeated and the repeated. Devotee and God become one. Stillness of the mind is essential in order to experience absolute peace and bliss. A wandering mind cannot see God. It must become still. Still the waves of the mind and see the Atman. After attaining the Atman, you see that all that is Brahman. Once the mind ceases to be restless, being free from thoughts and desires, that moment we are not individuals, but pure consciousness. Eckhart Tolle says, when you look at a tree or a human being in stillness, who is looking? Something deeper than the person. And he brings out a beautiful expression. Consciousness is looking at his creation. Here he says, Papa, once the mind ceases to be restless, being free from thoughts and desires, that moment we are not individual, but pure consciousness, which is at once cosmic and supercosmic. So here he says, who is looking now? We are not individual, in pure consciousness. So consciousness is looking at its creation. His guidance will come definitely. He is leading us, no doubt about it. Nobody needs doubt about it. When the mind ceases to be, then you realize you are the Atma. Look without seeing, hear without listening, eat without tasting. That is the thing you have to attain. These are all the words of Papa. Have we ever read it or not? So Ramnath chanting should enable us to reach this stage, paving the way for the emergence of this witness consciousness. This is a wonderful food for thought he gave us today morning. I will read it again. You must develop witness consciousness. Stand apart from the movements of the mind and watch it. Be the period ever so small, we can try that. Not necessarily in a particular place, on a particular time, on a particular day, before a particular person. It can be anywhere. Stand apart from the mind, movements of the mind.
Swamiji?
Yes.
Swamiji? அந்த தேர்ல சுவாமிய பாக்குறது அது ஒரு கிரௌடுல இருக்கும்.
தேர்ல போற சாமிய பாக்குறத பாக்கணும். நம்ம அந்த கிரௌட பாத்துட்டு
பாக்குறத நான் கிரௌடுல அது ஒரு கிரௌடு
அது கிரௌடு எல்லாம் பாதிக்கணும். தேர்ல போற சாமிய பாக்குறத பாக்கணும்.
பாக்குறத பாக்கணும்.
That is the purpose of it. He is taken out. Other social function has to do with number. Hardly anything to do with my spiritual practice. But on the Swamiji, on the simple word,
No, Swamiji, what I mean to... My question is, it is a fraction of a second. So we don't have to sit for hours together. In a fraction of a second also it can dawn upon us.
எப்படி வேணா எடுத்துக்கோ, அது சொன்னதை பாருங்க. Then, when you know that the தேர்ல போற சாமியை பாக்கறதுன்னு சொன்னா என்னத்தை பாக்கறதே இது வரணுமே. That is only one instrumental cause to trigger a series of practices. Normally I have not applied, but எல்லாத்தையும் சொன்னா நீ புரியாது. So the Swami says, நீ தேர்ல போறது பாத்துருக்க இல்லையா, தேர்ல போற சாமியை பாக்கறத நீ பாக்க. Not to be limited to the தேர்ல போற சாமி. That should set the ball rolling,
No, Swamiji, I mean to say it is a fraction of a second.
It is not a fraction of a second. It is not a fraction of a second. You don't know whether it is second or minute. Because immediately, if you look at this Dev Laborasami, it might be for a second or a half second. But that question, we don't limit to that. We are trying to stretch. Not only Dev Laborasami. In front of us, many people are sitting. Immediately I should apply this, I am sitting before the laptop. I am seeing the images of many of you. Immediately all are Swamis. And this is the theory. Which one? snapped off. Immediately, this thought comes. Who is seeing this? When Papa wants us to become aware of the witness consciousness in us, he touches and makes us to think about the Yoga Swami's quotation. Let us not get stuck there. But it's a wonderful clue, he says. It has to be stretched out throughout, to catch hold of, to become aware of, to have a glimpse of this witness consciousness.
Swamiji, stillness witness consciousness, Swamiji, can you explain? Because witness consciousness comes stillness.
When the stillness comes, automatically the witness consciousness emerges.
Oh, same meaning, Swamiji. Witness conscious and stillness are same.
Why are we getting a confirmation from outside? Please, it is not like that. You arrive at your own experience. Otherwise, what happens is, if we tell you an answer, it becomes a concept in your mind. The moment it becomes a concept, it distances you from the goal.
Witness consciousness புரியுது. இதை நம்ம பார்க்கிறோம், தெரியுது, ஏதோ பார்க்கிறோம் ஃபீலிங் இருக்க.
அது போரும்.
அது தெரியுது.
அது எப்போதும் எங்கிட்ட இருக்கு, தெரிஞ்சா போரும்.
அதுவே நமக்கு தெரியுது, நம்ம பார்க்கிறோம் அப்படிங்கிற உணர்வு இருக்கு. அது ஸ்டில்னஸ் ஓகே, நோ ஆர்குமெண்ட்.
நம்மள வெளியில கேட்கறதே then only we can go inward, whatever experience whatever shades of experience he gives, சிலப்ப blurred ஆ இருக்கும், சிலப்ப clear ஆ இருக்காது, but he will slowly take us. So we today the clue Papa has given, you must develop witness consciousness, stand apart from the movements of the mind and watch it. If you do so, the mind will become still in no time. To develop this witness consciousness, constant repetition of Ramnam is of great help. Witness consciousness cannot come all of a sudden. Long and continued practice of Ramnam is absolutely essential. To sit even for a short time, entirely detached from all objects, and to remain merged in your own self, will give you ecstatic joy, and you will thereafter be able to maintain this consciousness even when you are engaged in various activities. You can always remain conscious of the eternal, all-pervading, changeless truth behind all movements and changes in the manifestation. Then you are always joyful. In the beginning, you will find that you lose this witness consciousness when you are engaged in any activity. By constant practice alone, you can be established in it. This is what Krishnamurti called awareness. Pujya Swami used to say consciousness. He was trying to become aware of the presence of the consciousness always. And then he started going further and said that everybody is floating in that consciousness. Consciousness is eternal, unchanging. All the forms and movements in it are subject to changes. So Swamiji's way of approach was this consciousness. So like that, by constant practice alone, constant remembrance of the divine will gradually develop into that consciousness in which you can live and move. If you have this program,
சின்ன ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்றேன் Swamiji. We do some job. For example, if I may not close the valve of the water, then I may have closed it, but after coming after some distance, whether I close or not, I will go again. That means without consciousness only, conscious or challenge, அப்ப புரிஞ்சுக்கிறேன். அப்ப மைண்ட் எங்கேயோ ஓடி நிற்கிற அர்த்தம். I think that doing job is consciousness. Swamiji, இப்போ வீடு பூட்டிருக்கோம், வீடு போயிட்டு அதுதான் பூட்டினோம் இல்லையா, திரும்பி ரெண்டாவது போய் பாருங்க. That means conscious இல்லாம மைண்ட் எங்கேயோ ஓடி பண்ணி இருக்குன்னு அர்த்தம், ஓடி இருக்குன்னு அர்த்தம்.
Absent mind.
Absent mind.
இதுக்கு வேற ஒரு வழியா இருக்கும். You try to practice even while you chant, the mind is going elsewhere, means it is because of absent-mindedness in a grosser form. So that means, we become conscious of chanting. When we become conscious of chanting, this business consciousness will slowly emerge. When you slowly chant, automatically, the knowing principle is made known. You become aware of it. About the Ramnath chanting and the witness consciousness, effort to realize the witness consciousness should go on simultaneously.
Yes, sir.
And then after some time we will know that not only it is limited to Ramnath chanting, behind all activities, this witness consciousness is there. So first through Ramnath, we try to understand the witness consciousness, we try to feel the existence of witness consciousness, and then the stage comes when we stop Ramnath, witness consciousness will not leave us because we have understood. Correct. Behind one activity which is there, it is there behind all activities. So Papa says, when you continue like that, even in your activities, you will be able to maintain this witness consciousness, which is called awareness. And finally, he puts this word. If you have listened to Ramdas, you must have understood what he said. That means manana should take place. Listening. It is not hearing. Listening. Manana should take place, and then we take it within. We will be able to move further. Okay. ठीक है, ये मत that is, this does not stop any other of the ways. These are one among the ways. Each one is unique, so each one has to bring out the technique in a unique way, and that unique way can come only by going deep within. That is why, in spite of all this, in spite of telling all this, we are there where we are now. That means it doesn't go inside. That means it stays at the hearing level. When he says listening means, we try to churn and then try to go deep, and then we will be able to touch what exactly is meant by him. It is his language. We are trying to convert it into our language. The language with which we can understand. Really, this word is very nice. If you have listened to Ramdas, you must have understood what he said. Try to assimilate, put it into practice. Anyhow, that is the extra today we got. And we go back to IQG again. Anything else?
Shall I? Let's say again.
Anything from IQG?
Swamiji,
சொல்லுங்க.
அதாவது இந்த பிரேம பக்தி சொன்னேன், பிரேம பக்தி அது எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் ஆஃப் லவ் இன் ஆக்ஷன். புரிஞ்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். அதுல மதர் தெரேசா ஒரு பெரிய செயல் இருந்தா, she was doing lot of service to this thing, even this animals. And அதே மாதிரி பெரியவா ஈவன் பப்பா வந்து லெப்பர்சி ஆல்கள் she was doing lot of service. even அமிர்தானந்தமயி, மகாத்மா காந்தி, I think that is the expression of பக்தி இல்ல சாமிஜி, இதை சொன்னேன் அன்னைக்கு, பக்தி யோகாவா, they were doing this action, expressing the action, சாமிஜி. அமிர்தானந்தமயி
ordinary people நடக்கிறது எல்லாம்.
இதுல
Prema Bhakti is Papa defined, it is a synthesis, a harmonious blend of Bhakti, Jnana and Karma. இப்போ நம்ம வந்து normally we use this simile that you invite me for a cup of tea and you should know how to prepare a tea, and you should with the love you should prepare the tea, and you should also do the act of preparing the tea. When these three join together harmoniously, knowledge of the tea, knowledge of making the tea, the love with which you prepare the tea, and the act of preparing the tea, make the tea taste good. You are happy, I am happy. When you cook, you should know how to cook sambar, and you should lovingly cook sambar, that is knowingly. Oh, it should not, uppu should not be more, evi should not be more. Like that, we try to ensure, because otherwise people cannot eat. Perfection. Love aspect, perfection aspect. And then both these are there. If you don't prepare sambar, so the knowledge with which what are the ingredients necessary, at what time what should be poured in. First you have to boil the paripu. Like that, there is a system.
Yes, Swamiji.
So the knowledge of preparing sambar, the love with which you prepare sambar, and the act of preparing the sambar, ultimately fruits in the sambar becoming so tasty, the giver is happy, the taker is happy.
Yes,
so we can compare this Prema Bhakti something to that.
Correct,
it's not that. Approximating,
okay.
So in every act, suppose there is a combination of these three, it will lead us to the Prema Bhakti.
Very good, sir. Very sandosham. அப்ப இன்னொன்னு சாமிஜி, நம்ம இண்டிவிஜுவலா இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் மற்றவாழ இண்டிவிஜுவலா தான் பார்க்க முடியும் இல்லையா, பகவானை பார்க்க முடியாது. அதாவது நம்மளே இண்டிவிஜுவலா தான் நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கோம்.
இண்டிவிஜுவலா நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கிற இடத்தோட காலம், when we try to raise all our spiritual practices is to try to raise ourselves little higher than the individual. See, from now you are sitting. From there, how much you can see? Up to 10 feet or 15 feet or 20 feet, that's all. But when you go to your terrace, your vision is widened. When you go to the mountain top, Manjapati hill, near the Anjaneya temple, again it is wider. Suppose you travel by aircraft, again wider. That means you can accommodate everything, so many objects, so many individuals, so many situations, so many environments. So when you rise higher and higher and higher, that means you are raising yourself from the individual level physically. So here what is meant by you raise yourself from physically and mentally and intellectually. Then only we will be able to see them all in us. I am in a position to see. Previously the same mind could not see beyond 10 feet. The same mind is in a position to accommodate so many of the creations. Start thinking, These are all the ways by which, we try to raise ourselves. So this raising ourselves is what is called a spiritual journey. raising ourselves from our present level to a little more higher, little more higher, little more higher, and then the highest. So Ramnam should enable us to go from step to step to step. That is why Mataji used to say, the pettiness will not be there. Pettiness means you are only seeing it from the individual level. Quality, care and concern for others will come to us only when we raise ourselves from the individual level. Please think about it. No? All the dimensions are to be there in our mind in a subtle form when we chant Ramnam. So two things today came up. Anything from IQG? From anybody? Everybody is in witness consciousness, I believe. There is no sound coming.
Pranam Swamiji. Overwhelming to absorb. But we will try. Thank you.
Anyhow, it's okay. Same theme is brought out in a different form, that's all. So today it must have been a little bit heavy dose for us from Papa. But he has to give this. And the mysterious way he brings it out. We must have read this portion in Gospel. But today when it is read out, suddenly, we found, here is the key he is offering. When he wants us to maintain this constant God remembrance, and we have been struggling to maintain it, accepting some few theories which are stored in our intellect, we find it very, very difficult to implement it or practice it or make it a reality in our life. So suddenly, Papa, he goes to this awareness, of course, bringing the relevance of Ramnam in it. So let us all deeply think over this.
Swamiji?
Yeah?
Swamiji, I was chanting Ramnam slowly as you did. And the fear came up from within. Why?
Why fear?
I felt fearful and not restless, but my heartbeat turned a bit faster and became fearful. Why?
You do one thing. Immediately you stop chanting Ramnam. Get that, freshen yourself. Look at the photo of the master. See some positive thing. Again you sit.
First time when I sang with you slowly, I had vibrations all over the body and I had felt a happiness. But this time I felt fear.
Okay. If it is giving you joy, continue. If it doesn't give you joy, stop it.
Okay.
Your equipment needs something else.
Okay.
Papa used to mention about it clearly. So if that does not give you joy, if it disturbs you, stop it. Bring in positive things. That will empower you. The mind is conditioned, the mind gets conditioned. Papa himself bluntly says, if you don't find joy in it, you better stop it. Nothing wrong in it, don't worry. But he is there, whether you chant or not.
Yes, Swami.
What is important is to hold on to him.
Yes.
And you can pray, add this prayer. In spite of the fact that you are within me, you gave me this feeling of fear. Why? So immediately you stop and then start doing it. Again and again you try, suppose it gives you, for some time you stop. I remember in Gospel or somewhere, somebody was complaining that they were having headache. Immediately Papa said, stop chanting. Any experience that we do should give us joy. That means we are not forcing a theory on ourselves. What is suitable for us? Somebody practices pranayama, ultimately they over enthusiasm or something like that, it causes some disturbance. And what is recommended? Stop. Pranayama is not bad. Ramnam is not bad. Our equipment does not accept it. And we need, through that equipment only we can go beyond the equipment. So this reality we try to understand. So immediately if there is any negative, if we feel there is any something called fear, depression, anything like that, we immediately stop. Choose another one. For example, you the Nirbhayatvam will there. So slowly try to begin the way that he is there in Vishnu Sahasranam, when you go in Lalita Sahasranam. So anything. At least you can catch hold of that form, You can catch hold of that form. So the soul slowly the Nirbhayatvam will go. Adopt anything that is good. We are given total freedom, choosing the path. Because every one of us is unique. For example, if you are a Shirdi Sai Baba devotee, wherever you go, first board will be there, Nanirikka Paime. When I am there, why should you?
Sorry, Swamiji, battery bird. Battery bird, sorry. The patient was a battery down at the sorry. Battery down at the and not continue. Okay, no problem.
5 மணி ஆச்சு, அதனால பேட்டரி போயிருக்கும். When I am there, why do you fear? So like that, there are so many ways.
Okay.
Why we remember, that was the first one we saw. We were all worshipping Baba, but the first thing we were taught was this word, Nanirikka Paime. When I am here, why should you fear? So Baba
Swamiji, can we not bring the concept of creator, protector and destroyer to this fear also?
Fear also, yes.
Bhayakrit Bhayanashanaha in Vishnu Sahasranama we can. He is the creator of this fear and he is only going to destroy this fear.
Yes. Everything, in any way we can take it. Ultimately what we say is he has given the concept of fear and ultimately he will make us to get over it. There must be a purpose behind it. Gandhiji became a votary of Ramnam because of fear only. He was, when he was a child, he had to pass through some areas where people used to say that ghosts are there. And they will create some stories, They shape the dress of the ghost, this and that. So, his ayah, in a simple way, she says, when you get that, you chant Ram, Ram, Ram. No ghost will come near you. So like that, catch hold of anything. God will definitely enable you to catch hold of anything. So don't worry about all those things. Whatever practices you are doing, if it is not giving you joy, better stop it for some time. And God will prompt you to take up something else. Because our ultimate aim is to get the peace. Nothing at the cost of peace. First outward, then inward. If outward peace is not there, inward peace we will not be able to move towards. That is why we select quietitude in a calm and quiet place. Because we are novices, we are new people, young people. So it is difficult for us to get the peace within straight away. So first we try to appreciate the stillness outside, the peace outside, the joy outside, the fullness outside, and then slowly How did I enjoy the peace? If I enjoyed the peace outside because the peace is within me, otherwise how can I say it is peace? Slowly all those things will happen naturally. So choose wherever you are comfortable. That is why initially they will say, choose your own company, choose your place. Because initially we will not be able to say everything is alright, There are so many things that are not alright initially. And then we are trying to understand that everything is alright later. Pujya Swamiji was telling that when he was in military, when he heard about Papa's this word through one of his colleagues, that there is no disorder in the world. Everything is as it should be. He said only two people can say this in this world. One is a person who has risen above all these things. Because if we are seeing only disorder, another person must be a mad person, who doesn't know the reality. So the one word, so when Papa was saying that, when he did not see the disorder inside, when he knew everything is preordained, there is no disorder, When that gets rooted, he was able to see everything outside also as it should be. So, all these things, we have to keep all these things together when we are on this sadhana, so that whenever the mind or intellect brings certain inner conflicts, it is immediately answered and not allowed to encroach upon our efforts. I think that is enough today. It has been very heavy. 17:06. We will meet tomorrow. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Pranam.
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Hari Om.